Welcome to the channel, it's 9th edition 40k. Beware the enemy within. Ugh, that doesn't count. As Grandfather Nurgle's presence fills the wider galaxy, I'm having to play with myself. Unfortunately, number 2 and anyone else who might have appeared on this channel is not able to come to my house at the moment, so I'm going to have to return to the planet of Chancyll IV, which, if you may recall, is the location of my first battle report between the Orcs and the Thousand Sons. And here we pick up where that first battle report left off. That was a, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, that was a minor victory to the Thousand Sons, or it was a pretty bloody stalemate. The Thousand Sons have blunted the Waaaagh as it's landed on the planet, but there is still very much growing Orc presence in this planet. On this planet, the Orcs are consolidating their presence in order to push forward with their Waaaagh. The Thousand Sons have retreated to this industrial complex in the middle of the desert in order to consolidate their forces. What has happened is that the Waaaagh has already torn through this sector and massacred the workers who were present at this industrial sector. It looks like Earth is not the only planet to have mysterious monoliths appear. But I digress. The Thousand Sons have temporarily sent the Waaaagh in a different direction by using illusionary magics to show tempting targets for the Orcs in the opposite direction. The job for the Thousand Sons is to secure this site, retrieve what they need to from these objective markers, and then retreat to the more heavily built up and heavily defended cities on this planet. The Orcs have now discovered the ruse and are charging back towards this location, and those Orcs who arrive here first are the fastest, and lo and behold, they will be having the Evil Sons clan trait. The mission is retrieval mission found in the main rulebook. There are 6 objectives. It's going to be hammer and anvil deployment. So Thousand Sons will be deploying here, and this objective is included into their deployment zone. The Orcs will be deploying here. That objective is in their deployment zone, and the other 4 objectives are nestled amongst the feet of the industrial complex. Usual primary objective rules will apply, so it's 5 victory points for capturing one of these objectives, another 5 victory points for capturing a second, and then a third, maximum 15 per turn, 5 victory points by having more objectives than your opponent. In terms of terrain, there's a lot of line of sight blocking terrain here, which I purposely bunged in the middle. So obviously this is going to be completely obscuring and block all line of sight. I'm going to treat these gantries also as obscuring until we get to the lower height gantry and the sloped one. I'm going to just go by line of sight on that. Units obviously in the terrain will also have the benefits of cover, and it's defensible, so they will be able to stand to, or whatever those extra rules are. I'm going to treat that it's possible for the Bonebreaker and the Defiler to come through here, even if the model can't quite fit, and here, just to give a little bit more movement for those larger vehicles, because otherwise they will be pretty much forced to stick on the stand right the sides of the battle here. Secondary objectives. The Orcs have gone for, hold on 1 minute. Yes, the Orcs have, just had to double check, the Orcs have gone for a Boar the Witch. They don't have any Weird Boys yet. and it makes sense when you're playing Thousand Sons. That's 3 victory points for every Psyche unit destroyed, 5 victory points if that unit was a character. They're going for Line Breaker. They clearly want to get in the sweep past this installation, destroy the Thousand Sons in their lines, and assassinate. There are 3 Thousand Sons characters. 2 of them were present in the last battle, Orks wanting to get their revenge upon them. The Thousand Sons have also got assassinate. There are, I think, 4 characters in the Orc army. They've gone for thin their ranks, just kill the enemy, makes sense in this scenario. And then they've also selected the mission specific scenario, which is minimize their losses. Again, that's more of a sort of theme to the battle choice. They are currently suffering from full-scale Waaaagh, full-scale Orc invasion. They need to not throw away their assets lightly, and so they will gain victory points for units that are not destroyed in this game. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So let's go look at the armies and then move on to deployment. Okay, and here are the Orcs. It's 1,450 points. I'm going to be running Evil Sons in this game. That gives them +1 to their movement, advance and charge. That means they can fire their assault weapons and advance without penalty. So yeah, it's pretty good clan trait, I think. The Evil Sons means they can zip around quite quickly, get into the face of the enemy quite quickly, and still actually fire their weapons without too much penalty whilst doing so. So I think it's a good clan trait, probably one I use fairly frequently. It is a battalion headed up by the war boss Zarzot Face Crumper. Now he is sporting the combi weapon with a rocket launcher. His warlord trait is brutal but cunning, which means he re-rolls failed hit rolls when he charges or heroically intervenes. His melee weapons cause an extra point of damage. Because he's a war boss, he also means that all infantry around him can advance and charge. He has the Killer Claw as his shiny gubbins, which is basically a power claw that is not unwieldy and does a flat 3 damage and re-rolls failed wounds. So if he charges, he'll be re-rolling to hits, re-rolling to wounds, doing flat 4 damage with that power claw. So he's a proper beast when it comes into combat. In the other character slots, I've got a big mech with a custom force field. His name is Bok Grobber. He will be going in the mob of boys to give them some protection. And then finally, another HQ choice is the Death Killer Wartrike Zogger Badfang. In the troop slots, I've got a mob of 30 Orc boys with slugger choppers. There is a heavy slugger in there, and the boss knob has a power claw. Also got a mob of 12 boys here, 12 shooter boys, with obviously a rocket launcher, and a boss knob who's just got a standard slugger and chopper. They'll be running around in the truck. And then finally, third troop slot is just a small mob of Gretchen, who will almost certainly be used as grot shields in relation to these looters, who are an elite choice. Then I've got some 3 mega knobs. They're going to be having power claws and rocket combi launchers. Then in the backfield, I've got Bone Breaker. Now I've paid a command point to do a custom job. So the Bok Grobber has been playing around with it, and it's now got the red roller, which basically means it's an automatic 6 extra attacks when it charges, rather than roll a d6, which you'd normally have for a standard death roller, so that is going to cause a lot of crumping if it hits you. Got a Pain Boy. He's also going to be amongst the group of big mob of boys. The plan is a combination of the custom force field and the Pain Boy will hopefully keep as many of them as possible alive as they charge across the battlefield. I've also got a small mob of 3 knobs on bikes. Should really have more of them. I haven't got more of them, so I'm just running those. The boss knob having a power claw. The rest are armed with big choppers. I think that's it. I'm going to spend 2 command points to put the Bonebreaker and the Mega Knobs into the teleporter. So they're going to be coming in and later turns and hopefully really making an impact with a charge. I'm also spending a command point on a Clever Spanner for the looters, which basically means when you fire them, you roll a d3, and that's how many shots each model and unit fires. But with a Clever Spanner, then you roll 2d3 and pick the best result. So hopefully that will keep up their firepower. I think that's it. Yeah, so going to be fast, going to be punchy. It's going to be Evil Sons are going to get into the Thousand Sons face, try and get them in combat as soon as possible, force them to either retreat, especially their psychics if they fall out of combat and they can't use their psychic powers, and really take the battle to the enemy. Okay, let's have a look at the Thousand Sons. Okay, and here is the Thousand Sons army, which is a battle-forged battalion, which means they get Brotherhood of Sorcerers ability, which adds 6 inches to their psychic powers. The army is led by Imhodum Manitek, who is an Exalted Sorcerer on a disc. His warlord trait is Ardent Scholar, which means he will reroll 1s in the psychic tests. And he has the relic, the Coruscator, which is a more powerful souped up warp bolt pistol. The 2 other HQ slots are the 2 standard sorcerers, Head Rada Ran and Photic Amonkhet. They're just carrying their standard armaments of warp bolt pistols and 4 staves. I'll deal with their psychic powers as and when they're cast throughout the game. Otherwise I'll be listing a long list of them here. Troop choices, I've got 2 squads of 10 Rubik Marines, each squad with a Soul Reaper cannon. The front squad actually going to have 4 Warp Flamers in this squad. I'm going to try using the Warp Flamers, see how they do against the mass ranks of the Orcs. And the Aspiring Sorcerer also has a Warp Flame pistol. The squad behind them is all kitted out with Warp Bolters. Behind them I've got a squad of 18 Zangors due to points. And then finally a squad of Chaos Cultists. There is all with auto guns, and there is a heavy stubber in that squad as well. These will represent the crew and the staff of the facility that the Thousand Sons are defending. In the elite slots, I've got a squad of Terminators. They are all armed with Warp Storm Bolters. There's no heavy Warp Flamer in the squad. However, there is the Hellfire, I want to say, missile launcher in that squad. And then there's a Hellbrute and WYSIWYG, so Multi-Melter and Hellbrute Fist. And finally the Defiler, which again is WYSIWYG, so the autocannons, battle cannon and the heavy flamer. I am aware that Space Marines are going to get 2 wounds, and that, I believe it will include Thousand Sons and the Chaos Space Marines, but as those rules have not officially dropped yet, I'm keeping it as is. So the Exalted Sorcerer's ability will affect himself, even though he's not a core unit. The rubrics are still going to have 1 wound for this battle. When the rules become official, then obviously they will change on the channel. However, I think officially the multi-melter rules have changed, so this is going to be a 2-shot weapon, and if it's under half range, then I think you add 2 to the damage roll. I'll double check that, but I believe that's the case. So let's go on to deployment. Okay, here is the deployment. Both armies are deployed. Dealing with the Orks first. On this flank we have 12 shooter boys, then the big mob of 30 slugger chopper boys with the war boss, big mech with custom force field, and the pain boy amongst them. Then we've got a small squad of gobos taking the home objective, and then over here we have the Deathkiller war trike, the knobs on war bikes, and the truck which contains the looters. Initially I wanted to put the shooter boys in the truck, but having a look at the field line of sight terrain and all that blocking terrain in front of them, there wasn't great shooting opportunities for the looters apart from perhaps the under that walkway there, but I wanted the Orc boys to charge through there. I could have put a few models up here and a few models down below and the rest of the squad on the ground floor, but it would have taken quite some time just to get to the top of that tower, and if I wanted to use the grot shields stratagem, they would have to come up with them, so it would have taken a few turns I think to get up there and get an opposing field of fire. But whilst doing so, they would have been in the teeth of most of the Thousand Sons guns. So that's why I've done that. Does mean my looters are going to be a bit more mobile. They hopefully will zip around and get some good shots in. They will be protected by being in the truck, but I won't be able to use the more dagger stratagem, unfortunately, because they're technically not on the table. But I think that's probably the right choice for this battlefield. Okay, let's have a look at the Thousand Sons. We've got the squad of rubrics here with the 4 warp flamers in them. They're going to have to deal with that lot coming charging under the walkway. 2 sorcerers next to them to support them. Obviously got the defiler in the backfield. The cultists who represent the crew of this facility, the staff of this facility, picking up some weapons to defend it, are holding the Thousand Sons home objective, and the Exalted Sorcerer and the Hellbrute in front of them. The Sorcerer is within 3 inches of this squad up here, so he cannot be targeted, and they're taking advantage of the walkway, so hopefully the Orc vehicles will find it harder to engage them. The Thousand Sons have put the Zangors in the Eldar webway and for command point, and the Terminators are in deep strike. For the Orcs, so they're down to 8 command points, starting with 9. For the Orcs, 1 command point has been spent on a clever spanner or for the looters. Another 2 command points to put the Bone Breaker and the Mega Knobs in the teleporter. And then the 4th command point spent by the Orcs before the battle on the big red roller for the Bone Breaker. So the Orc player down to 5 command points at the start of the game. Now I've got 2 dice. Blue for Thousand Sons, grey for Orcs. Let's see who goes first. And the Thousand Sons win the roll. And I think we'll elect to go second, because I think the Orcs need to come onto the ranges of the Thousand Sons guns. So yes, I think it'd be Orc turn 1. Okay, here we are at the end of the movement phase for the Orcs. The big squad of boys here charging up. The boys got a good 6 on their advance roll, so they could have got further up along the table, but the characters rolling separately because I have separate units didn't quite get a good advance roll. So yeah, they're sort of almost like having to keep up the slowest of them, but they're beginning to spill around a little bit around the edges, because it'd be very orky just to charge headlong as fast as their legs can carry them. This squad going to be out of range apart from the rocket launcher, but the idea is that once the boys have gone that way, the shooter boys will stick on that objective, which is just under the feet of the Orks there. The Gretchen have to stay where they are. I suspect they will stay there for the whole game, frankly. They're just the after battle snacks for the Orks later. Now, this was a little bit head scratching. The knobs on bikes have rather seemingly foolhardily into the guns to the left of them, guns to the right of them, have charged through the walkway there. They haven't advanced, and I did. If I put the Deathkiller Wartrike through here as well, then they could have easily have probably made a charge against this unit. Yeah, I don't know what was the right decision. They're going to shoot at the Rubric Marines. I could have tried to get a one-turn charge with the Deathkiller Wartrike and these bikes into the squad of Rubrics, but a Deathkiller Wartrike not so good about killing troops. It's a sort of anti-vehicle and character weapon unit, really. So I've been a bit more tactical and maybe a little bit of blood running through some of these Orcs veins. But the Deathkiller's basically gone on here just to score that objective at the beginning of next turn. The truck getting a 6-inch advance, and because he's Evil Sons, that resulted in it just about managing to get onto that objective around the corner. So yeah, that's the Orc movement phase. We are now going to go into shooting phase. There's no psychers in the Orc army. Okay, let's start with the war boss. He's just about within rocket range of the Defiler, so that's going to hit on a 5. Which misses. The rocket in the shooter squad is going to go into this squad of Rubrics, and that misses. The slugger, big shooter, I'm going to get the name of that weapon right. The big shooter in the boys into the Rubrics, scoring 1 hit, wounding on 3s, doesn't wound. Okay, the Daka guns from the Orc knobs on bikes. I did suddenly remembered that, of course, they don't have any penalty to advance and shoot their assault weapons. So I asked my Thousand Sons whether I could quickly advance roll that unit, and he kindly said yes. I rolled a 2, so that's an extra 3 inches towards the enemy. But yes, 6 dice per model, so that's 18 dice hitting on 5s, and of course 6s is Daka. Is that it? That's it. So 2 Dakas, which don't convert. Strength 5, toughness 4 for the Rubrics, 3s to wound. They do score 4 wounds. They get all this dust. It's no AP dash. This is 2 up saves. And oh, they take out a Rubric unless I want to command point. Nah. No, so that's a slain Rubric. Concluding the shooting phase for the Orcs, the big shooter in the truck going into the Cultists, and the looters will be going into the Defiler. So big shooter into the Cultists, hitting on 5s, 1 hit, wounding on 3s, does wound, AP dash, a 6 up save. No, that's 1 Cultist slain. And then the looters can't play Daka, but they still got the clever spanner. So I pick so it's only 1 shot per model. So there are 8. I've forgotten the name of the weapon. The big guns. Death guns, I think they're called. Into the Defiler, hitting on 5s, only scoring 2 hits. Strength 7, toughness 7. That's 4s to wound. It does score 2 wounds. 2 -1 saves, 2 4-ups. Both fail. That's 4 damage on the Defiler. I forgot to declare the weapon that the spanner has, so that would go into the Cultists. No, well, I just checked the profile of it. It's a Strength 8 weapon. It's just about in range of the Defiler, so it will go into the Defiler. It's a single dice and it misses. And that will be the end of a relatively lackluster shooting phase. 10 wounds left on the Defiler. And that will be the end of Orc turn 1, because there's no charges as we go into Thousand Sons turn 1. Okay, the end of movement for the Thousand Sons in turn 1. Bit of a cagey move, not very much going on. I debated whether to advance, well, not literally advance, but move this squad of rubrics to try and get on an objective. But I mean, it's just, there's no way I'm going to hold that objective with that lot coming towards them, and the bikes as well. So I've kind of given that objective up. They have moved in this direction just to try and create a bit more distance between them and the Orc boys coming their way. They are 3 of the Warp Flamers are within range of the Knob bikes, so they will try and destroy them at least. Oh, I haven't moved my Exalted Sorcerer, but I think I might keep him. Sorry, yeah, I haven't rolled any dice yet. I'm going to move the Exalted Sorcerer to here, because he needs line of sight for smite. Hold on, I'm checking that puts him outside the bubble. I think it will do. Okay, he's moved there. In fact, he does put virtually everything within his reroll 1 bubble. Yeah, I did have to roll a morale test for the Cultists, just because even though I only took 1 casualty, but they were fine. The Hellbrute has stomped underneath the gantry. The idea here is that the Hellbrute pops open the truck with its multi-melter, and then this squad up here will then rinse the looters. So, Defiler, I did think about moving it up to support this squad here, because it doesn't suffer any penalties for moving and firing anymore, of course, because it is a vehicle. However, I want to sort of use it as a bit of a, just in case the Hellbrute whiffs, I could use it just to hopefully finish off any last wounds on the truck if I need to. So I've actually kept it there. It regained a wound because of its regeneration abilities. So now we're going to go into the psychic phase for the Thousand Sons turn 1. Okay, Imholden Manutech kicking off with temporal manipulation on the Defiler to try and heal some wounds back. Warp charge value of 6, and that goes off. D3 wounds. It's taken 3 and it's back to full health. That's good. Second spell will be a simple smite into the knob bikes in front of him, and that goes off. D3 mortal wounds for 2. Choosing initially to put it on the rear bike there. I was wondering whether to put it on the lead knob, because then it would probably put the Warp Flamers out of range, but I suspect they're going to be lit up with some more psychic powers. There's a few more smites coming in a direction in the event. So that's Imholden done. Then the Hedrada will do, he will smite on a 6 now. It does go off, and that does D3 mortal wounds for 3, so it's going to kill that bike. Yes, I'm going to put 2 more wounds on the lead knob. Okay, second spell will be Boon of Mutation on himself. Warp charge value 7, that fails. Then the other sorcerer will Blah, 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 blah. He will also... He will do prescience on the Defiler. And on 11 that goes off. And then we'll do... the last spell will be Infernal Gaze. It doesn't have to be the nearest unit. It just have to be nearest. This has to be a visible unit. So I'm going to try get rid of this. Well, start getting rid of the big mech. So it's on a 5, targeting the big mech. Goes off on a 6. On a 4 up, it causes mortal wounds to the big mech. 1 mortal wound on the big mech. Maybe it should have been the pain boy, because that might then get healed up. But there we go. It's done now. Right. This squad will class Glamour of Tzeentch on itself. Will charge value of 7. I'm going to command point reroll that, because I think that's going to be quite important. And it does go off. And then finally, I've got a... aspiring sorcerer, and he will do psychic delve on the truck, which basically means, let's see if it goes off. I'll explain if it goes off. I just keep not recording my dice rolling. 6, that does go off. Basically means that any Cult of Knowledge unit targeting the truck, which is what it's firing against, can reroll wound rolls of 1. Okay, that's the end of the psychic phase as we go into the shooting phase. Okay, quite important shot this, I think. This is the multi-melter into the truck, hitting on 3s. And scoring 1 hit. Command point reroll. That's going to put me down to 7. It scores 2 hits. It's strength 8, toughness 6. So, freeze to wound. Wounds go straight through the armor, and it's within half range, so I add 2 to each wound roll, I believe. So that's 6 wounds, and that's 8 wounds. That's going to destroy the truck, unless I roll 6s, in which case they become damage 1 because of the ramshackle rule. And so yes. Oh no, which one was it? 1, 2, 3. It was the lower. No, so that 8 damage became 1 damage, and then the 6 damage. So 7 damage in total. I think I got that right. 7 damage in total. It's not destroyed. Yeah, so 3 wounds left on the truck. Ramshackle rule kicking in there, keeping it in play. So it's going to have to be the Defiler. So do I put both its weapons, the autocannon and the battle cannon? Well, I'm going to do a command point for Demon Forged. So that means I can get to reroll all failed hits and failed wounds. But I think I better fire both sets of weapons into it. I really want this destroyed. So it's got prescience on it. It says hitting on 3s. And this is the autocannon. I get to reroll failed misses. So 4 hits. Strength 7, toughness 6, freeze to wound with rerolling failed wounds. I think I might do it with this. Rerolling that failed wound. Yes, a 4 -1 save for 5 up. It's a single damage, so ramshackle doesn't work. And there we go. It's destroyed the truck. There's nothing near it that will cause it to blow up. But there are 9 looters inside. The battle cannon is going to be wasted. That's a shame. Especially because I've got Demon Forge in it. But I just thought I needed it. So we don't want ones from the Orc perspective. And there's 1 as 1 looter fails to get out in time before it cooks. So as the dust clears, that's how things stand. The looters deciding to come out the back of the truck to avoid getting charged by the Hellbrute. I did think about using the strategy loot it, which would at least gain +1 armor save as they loot the bits and gubbins from the destroyed truck. That would give them a 5-up save, but frankly, with warp bolters at -2, there's very little that would do. I mean, it would help them against the auto guns, but I think that's the least of their concerns right now. So I've decided not to play that strategy. So we continue the shooting phase for the Thousand Sons, and I think the Looter's day is going to get worse because this squad will shoot everything into them. I'm going to spend 2 command points, one for Veterans of the Long War and another for Infernal Fusillade. I definitely did not forget that. So Infernal Fusillade means all rapid fire weapons can fire twice if they did not move. So dealing with the Soul Reaper first, that is hitting on freeze. This is a heavy weapon, so Infernal Fusillade doesn't count. So hitting on freeze, they all hit. Wounding on freeze, and that's going to be 2 dead looters. Okay, so there's 8 warp bolters, rapid firing at 16 dice, and because they're firing twice, that's 32 dice. Hitting on freeze, rerolling 1s because of the Exalted Sorcerer. Oh! And strength 4, toughness 4, means they're wounding on 4s, but because of veterans, hold on, let me get a bit nearer. Because of Veterans of the Long War, they are now wounding on 3s. In fact, killing on 3s, it's going to go straight through their armour. Basically, armour's no good for weapons that mutate you, causing all things to happen to your armour and yourself. Killing on 3s. Yeah, that's going to be the squad. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that is definitely the squad. I feel a bit bad as the Orc player now. I did not play them very well at all, did I? Well, lessons have been learned as they are gunned down. Okay, continuing the brutal shooting phase from the Thousand Sons, the warp flamers that are in range are going to open up against the bikes here. The rest of the weapons are going to start picking away at the boys. So 3d6 auto hits from the warp flamers. That's 12 auto hits. 5, 6, 7, 10, 12. Strength 4, toughness 5. 5's to wound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 minus 2 saves, so this would be on 6s. And that's going to kill the squad. Yes. The 8, sorry, this is the Soul Reaper, should be 4 dice. Against the boys, hitting on 3s, they all hit. Wounding on 3, strength 5, toughness 4. 3 wounds. It's going to go on to the custom force field, 5-up saves. No, and then 6-ups for the pain boy. No, he doesn't save any, so it's 3 dead. I just remembered I never did the pain boy for the big mechs. This is that wound. No, he still had it. Okay, so there's 7 warp bolters to fire into the boys. 3 dead at the moment. Hitting on 3s. Rerolling 1s because of the Exalted Sorcerer. Good shooting, lads. 4s to wound. Oh, look at that roll. Wow. Okay, let's move on quickly. So that's that unit gone. They're destroyed. And 3 are slain from this unit. Does mean that the pistols from all the characters are out of range. And only 3 auto guns were in range of the boys down here from the cultists. Hitting on 4s. Getting 2 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound. And 5-up invulnerable. No. Custom force field not doing very much at the moment. And then 6-up pain boy. No, so cultists managed to slaughter boy. And that is the end of the shooting phase for the Thousand Sons. Pretty effective. They've wiped out the Orc bikes here. They've destroyed the looters and the truck. I think my naivety, my newbiness for the Orks is beginning to show through here. But yeah, let's see what happens in Orc turn 2. So the Thousand Sons scoring 2 victory points for thin their ranks. The truck counting as effectively as 10 models destroyed because it's 10 or more wounds. So it's 2 victory points to the Thousand Sons, 0 to the Orc as we go into Orcs turn 2. Okay, we're at the beginning of Orc turn 2. Some good news for the Orcs. We managed to score 15 primary objective points for being on 3 of the objectives, with the Thousand Sons only being on 1. The Orc boys got a good advance roll, so they're very close to the Thousand Sons lines now. The character's not quite so good, but at the end of the Orc movement phase, the Pain Boy is going to try and heal the big mech on a 2-up. I think he gains a wound, so he gets that wound back. The Bone Breaker has come in here from the teleporter, and I think we're going to have to try and deal with that Defiler with the Bone Breaker. All the rest of the guns are going to try and thin down the rubrics here. The Deathkiller Wartrike has come around the corner and is going to eye up a charge on the Hellbrute. Be interesting because there's only 1 unit can overwatch per phase now. I suspect Thousand Sons player will want to light up those Orcs with the flamers, so hopefully the melting melter won't be hitting that. Deathkiller Wartrike and the Shooter Boys have shuffled up. So let's go into Orc shooting. Okay, let's kick off with the War Boss. Rocket into the Defiler. And, oh, hits with a Dagger, which misses. Strength 8, Toughness 7, freeze. Wounds. I think it's -2. Demon save. Fails to save, D3 damage. For free. Good shot. The Slugger going into the Rubric Marines. Snake eyes. Okay. Sluggers from the characters into the Rubric Marines. 1 hit. And wounds. 2-up save. Ah! Oh my goodness. Yeah. Big shooter from the boys squad into the rubrics. 1 Daka, which does convert. So that's 2 hits, Trump 5, toughness 4. 2 wounds, 2-up saves. They saved. Okay, now I've pre-measured this squad into the rubrics as well. I'm trying to kill as many, so I'm killing some of the warp flamers, so I don't get quite so many toasted boys as I go in. So the rocket launcher misses. Okay, 20 shooters, excluding the knob and the rocket launcher, into the rubrics, hitting on 5s and 6s. Daka. Yes, that's not too bad shooting. Oh, one more. And that is 5 Dakas. 6 Dakas. Oh, that's not bad. And that converts 3 more. Strength 4, toughness 4. Ah, drop dice don't count even if it's a 6. 4s to wounds, but unfortunately with all this dust, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, these are 2-up saves. And 2 more ones rolled there. Yeah, I think I'm keeping my saving throw, or potential saving throw, command point for the Defiler. So that's 2 more rubrics slain. Just leaves the key Warp Flamers, the character, and the heavy Soul Reaper cannon. Okay, I did the twin boomsticks off camera because they probably wouldn't do anything, and I was right, they didn't do anything. From the Deathkiller Wartrike into the Defiler, but it's now going to use the cutter version of the Killer Jet, which is actually quite a good anti-armor weapon if it hits. It's Assault 2, hitting on 5s. No. Yeah, going to be the end of my shooting. Oh no, it's not. I've got a Bone Breaker. No, I better leave that. So no hits there. And then finally the Bone Breaker. The big shooters, all 4 of them are going to go into the Rubric Marines. The battle cannon, I forget the proper walkie name of it, is going to go into, it's going to go into the Defiler. So let's do the cannon, heavy D6 for 6 shots. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hitting on drop dice, hitting on 5s, and that's 3 hits with a Daka. I'll roll that again. Yeah, 4 hits. Nice. Strength 8, toughness 7, 3s to wound, and 5 up saves. I'll take flat 2 damage. Yeah, command point reroll, I think, from the Thousand Sons. No, that was a 1. I still didn't record it, did I? So that's 6 damage. Putting it on 5 wounds. I think it's going to be easy pickings for the Death Roller. Okay. And then the big shooters. Against the rubrics. Scoring 6 hits and 3 daggers. Don't convert, so these are wounding on 3, strength 5, toughness 4. Yeah. 4 2-up saves, all is dust. Get another one. I'm gonna have to lose the Soul Reaper, I think, because I want to keep the Warp Flames alive. Okay. And that is the end of the shooting for the Orcs. Okay, it is now the charge phase for the Orcs. Charges across the board. Bonebreaker is going to go in against a Defiler, and I'm going to spend 2 command points on ramming speed. That would mean I have a 3d6 charge, and if I get the charge home on a 2-up, I do d3 mortal wounds. It's primarily just to get the charge in. Did think about possibly some of these other characters, but no, let's kill that Defiler because it can heal itself up, and the Thousand Sons do have healing spells. The boys and all the 3 characters are going to try and get into the rubrics. They are the unit that's going to fire Overwatch for a command point for the Thousand Sons, and then the Deathkiller will go in against the Hell Brute. So let's do the important one on camera, which is the Bonebreaker. It's a 9-inch charge, and that will be enough. Don't need to use Here We Go. The boys, I'm going to reroll both of those. Ooh, 4. That's going to be enough anyway. And the boss knob, no, what's his name? Warlord. Warboss, get it right in the end. Warboss. He's in, well, it's like to be in, that's an 8-inch charge. The Pain Boy also gets an 8-inch charge, and the Big Mech, I'll re-roll them because that's going to be a failed charge. That might still be a failed charge of 6. I'll just get the tape measure out and see where we are after that, but let's just do the Deathkiller Wartrike. Yeah, that's definitely in. Okay. I wouldn't normally get Overwatch on camera, but let's do it now. So, pistol from the Sorcerer, misses. And then 4d6 auto hits. That's not great, is it? That's very disappointing. Command point reroll. Oh, no, there we go. So that's 5, 6, and 8, 9. Only 9. That is really, really poor. I thought that could have done at least a bit more damage. But anyway, they are auto hits. Strength 4, toughness 4. Wounding on 4s. These weren't too bad. A wound roll. -2. It's just a shooting attack, so the custom force field still is inactive. Which actually saves 3. And then 6 is for the pain boy. No, 3. Only 3 orcs, so that is very disappointing. Are now completely charges. And it looks like that. I've decided not to pile in with the orc boys because I didn't want to get too close to those characters. Didn't want them to heroically intervene. By the time I moved all the boys, the pain boy, one of these characters who did make the charge, couldn't actually get round there anymore. So that is a failed charge. The war boss making sure he's getting in. Bonebreaker on a 2-up. It does D3 wounds because of the ramming speed. Yep. So D3 wounds on the Defiler, putting it on 1 wound left. Right. It's beginning to smoke and crackle. Now, I was going to go for the Bonebreaker first, but it's only got 1 wound left. I think it probably could survive an attack from that injured Defiler. So I'm going to go... So a little bit worried about the Hellbrute Fist smacking back at the Deathkiller Waaaagh. So let's activate that first. So 5 attacks for the Deathkiller Waaaagh and hitting on 2s. Because it's not unwieldy, the Snagger Claw. There is 1 miss there. I'm going to command point reroll that. Oh, it still misses. Dice God say no. +2 to strength, so strength 7, toughness 7, 4s to wound. And I reroll failed wounds with this weapon. Still only 3 wounds. 3 -2 saves, so 5 up. 1 passes 1. 2, it's not going to destroy it. 2d3 damage. Oh dear, only 2 damage caused on the Hellbrute. I wonder if the Deathkiller Waaaagh might regret that. Okay, I think I am going to spend 2 command points to interrupt, because it's still got Defiler Claws, which can do d6 damage, so I could probably do a little bit back against the Bonebreaker here, so let's do that now. So a Defiler with 1 wound left has 2 attacks, but it has Hateful Assault, so that becomes 3 attacks. Hitting on 4s, that doesn't degrade, and it still has Prescience on it, so it's actually hitting on 3s. Scoring 2 hits. Strength is 16, so it's wounding on 2s. 2 wounds, and it's going to go crumping right through the armour and do 2d6 damage. Oh, only 4. And unfortunately, Thousand Sons player has run out of command points, using the last 2 to interrupt. So yeah, 4 damage caused. That's a bit disappointing. So the Bonebreaker, because it's got the big red roller, has 6 attacks plus 6 attacks. There's 12 attacks, hitting on 2s. And 1 there. Strength is +1, so strength 9, toughness 7, 3s to wound. Ooh, that wasn't that good a wound roll, but it should still be enough. -2, flat 2 damage. All these need to be 5 or 6s. And no, that is Defiler. Does it go boom? No, it doesn't blow up. I think this might be an opportune moment to go Waaaagh! Okay, let's do the knob with the Power Claw. It's unwieldy, so it's hitting on 4s against the rubrics. Getting 2 hits. Wounding, let's see what I roll. That's going to be 2 wounds. It's going to have to go on to Favoured of Tzeentch Invulnerable save. No, that's 2 dead. and a lot of attacks for the boys. Hold on, let me count them up. Only 11 boys been able to get into combat, but that's still 44 attacks. Here's 30 of them, and we'll see if we need the rest of them. So I've just got 2 fistfuls of dice here, hitting on 4s, because Glamour of Tzeentch was still in effect. Might help me a little bit, but doubt it would be enough. Right, there misses, there hits, miss. Right. Strength, that's a miss. Strength 4, toughness 4. So I can pick up these dice with my small hands. Winning on 4s. That's not that great. I might need the rest of the dice. No, that's pretty poor. That's only 6. 6 2-up saves. Already lost 2 though, haven't they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 up. Yep, they tank it. Look at that. Okay, I need 14 more dice to do the rest of the attacks. Okay, here's the rest of them. Hitting on 4s. Combination of a really poor hit roll and Glamour of Tzeentch making a real difference. 4s. I need 2 more saves to make of 2 up. Yeah, oh my goodness. They have bounced. I need to engage the Warlord. So the War Boss, 4 attack space. He's going to pile in because 2 were slain. Hitting on 2s. They all hit. Be winning on 2s with the big red claw. And they all wound. And these will be the 5-up invulnerable saves. And he only kills 1. Wow. And that is interesting. Well, I thought they would slaughter the rubrics, but combination of their Glamour of Tzeentch magics and some pretty poor rolling from the Orks. Some pretty good saves from the rubrics have meant that still 2 are alive. And the War Boss is somewhat exposed with 3 of all the Thousand Sons characters right there. So I imagine he's going to get magicked off the table next turn. Better do the attacks back, so I did a standard standard Space Marine, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s because of the Exalted Sorcerer, wounding on 4s, doesn't wound, and then the Aspiring Sorcerer, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s, only 1 hit, wounding on 3s, does wound, goes straight for the armor, does D3 damage, so unless I roll 666 for the pain boy, he's going to kill 1 boy. Yes, he kills a boy. Okay. Right, finally, the Hellbrute has 4 attacks base, 5 because of Hateful Assault, and he's hitting on 3s with the Hellbrute Fist. I think the Death Killer might be in trouble here. Oh, maybe not. Look at that roll, only 1 hit. Oh dear, it's going to wound on 2. It does wound, it's going to go straight through the armor and do D3 damage. I'll just double check that. I think it is 3 damage. No, it's a flat 3 damage. I didn't need to roll that dice, but I rolled a 3 anyway. So 3 wounds been done on the Deathkiller Warthog, and I think he can consider himself quite lucky there. That's the end of the Orc turn. I just noticed the box was in the corner. Very unprofessional, sorry about that. But do you expect anything else on this channel than complete unprofessionality, if that's a word? Right, at the end of the combat phase, I rolled to see if the Hellbrute goes nuts, because on the 6 he does. No, he doesn't. Okay, that is the end of the Orc's turn. Yeah, pretty good turn. They've a little bit disappointed they didn't completely clear up here, but all the Orcs are on the table, apart from the Meganob still in the belly of the Bonebreaker. I believe I'll get the tape measure, but I think the Death Killer is within the deployment zone of the rubrics. Of the Thousand Sons. So I think that will be line breaker because they've got 2 or more units in their deployment zone. They haven't killed any characters. Yeah, I'll total up the secondary points in a sec. I will need a morale check for the rubrics. Hold on. Yes, that is a fail. They lost 7 that turn. So on the 1s or 2s, the rest flee. Also, one flees, but the aspiring sorcerer stays because I didn't roll a 1 or 2 on either of the dice. I have to suddenly think what engaged my brain there. The Orks, of course, are in a happy place. Plenty of them. Do not worry about morale. Okay. Yeah, so in terms of secondary victory points for the Orks in turn 2, they are line breaking. That's 4 victory points. They didn't kill the rubric, so they've not got aboard the witch yet. Yeah, so, and assassinate is also no characters have been killed, so only 4 secondary victory points for the Orks as we move into Thousand Sons turn 2. So here we are at the end of movement phase for Thousand Sons turn 2. They only scored 5 primary objective victory points for being on that objective. The Orcs pretty much dominating the entire battlefield. Now, I'll explain what's happened. Because we've got minimised casualties as a secondary objective, I advanced and fell back the Exalted Sorcerer to there. The characters, it's quite tempting just to smite the war boss to death, but that really would have been, I think, the end of the characters, as the mob of boys would have swamped over them. I am conscious they've got aboard the witch. There's a lot of victory points tied up amongst the characters, so they have retreated, tactically repositioned themselves, if you like, using the human cattle of the cultists as cover for their retreat. The idea is that they will psychic the Deathkiller Wartrike to death, and basically then try and use all their firepower, trying to strip some of these boys down so they're less of a threat. Of course, the Thousand Sons do have their reserves. They have come on. The Terminators coming on here. The idea is to annihilate that unit, which they should be able to do quite easily. With a bit of luck, they might leave 1 alive, which I could then charge with a really long bomb charge and try and get on the objective. But I am Thousand Sons players conscious that he needs to get a bit more board control, get a bit more of his primary objectives. Otherwise, the Orc player will simply win by just sitting on the primary objectives. With that in mind, it was quite tempting to get the Zangors in around about here and bog down the Bonebreaker, because if you charge a Bonebreaker, it's only got 6 attacks, and with a 5-up invulnerable save, you're probably only going to lose 4 Zangors in combat, and really, bog down this useful asset that the Orcs have. So tactically, that would have been the decision I would have made. But I am thinking about the victory points and taking some of these primary victory points. And also we've got thin the ranks, and 10 Gretchen is pretty easy pickings. So the Zangors will come out of the webway here. With a bit of luck, they get that charge off. Obviously they can't take both objectives, but if we could just start getting on the objectives and destroying some of these Orc assets, hopefully it'll get us back into the game from the Thousand Sons perspective. Yeah. So, with that in mind, let's go on to the psychic phase. Okay, smite from Overrun the Sorcerer into Deathkiller Wartrike. 5s. Oh, I did gain a command point. No, that's just going to have to be a perils, because I really want to use that command point for the double firing of this squad up here. So that's D3 mortal wounds on Overrun. He's got 1 left. Oh dear, not an auspicious start. Okay, his second power, he will try and cast Prescience on the rubrics up here. Deary me, the Wings of Magic failing the Thousand Sons. That's a fail. Right, moving on then to the Exalted Sorcerer. He will smite on a 6 the Deathkiller Wartrike. And that does go off D3 mortal wounds. It's already taken 3. It's now taken 2, so it's got 3 left. Second power, he will try and heal up the Hellbrute. And that's a 5. No, doesn't go off. Oh dear. That exalted trainee, that aspiring sorcerer fell back, so cannot now cast. So this sorcerer will do Infernal Gaze on the Deathkiller Wartrike on a 5. Oh man, nothing is going off in the Psychic phase for 1,000 Sons. And then finally, Boon of, I don't mean Boon of, the one where he tries to change himself into a Demon Prince. I really could do with that, so let's see if it goes off. It does go off. I roll 2d6 on the table. Oh, saw a 6. That's Aura of Illusion, which means it's -1 to hit that sorcerer in the combat phase. That was a really poor psychic phase. I've got one more psychic power up here. That's going to be Psychic Delve against the boys squad below. And that does go off. So reroll wound rolls of 1 against that unit. Well, that plan didn't work, did it? So I'm going to have to help. We're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, let's go on to the shooting phase. Okay, let's make myself feel a bit better. This Terminator's into the shooter boys, hitting on 3s. These are the Warp Bolters. Warp Storm Bolters. Oh man, still not great shooting. Normally ever reliable Terminators. Wounding on 4, killing on 4s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dead. Missile launcher hits once and will kill on a 2. So it's 8 boys dead. At least it does give them some to charge. Okay, let's do the Hellbrute, who can fire into combat because he's a vehicle. But it's a heavy weapon, so it's at -1 to 4s. That's 1 hit with the multi-melter. It will wound on a 3. And that wound is going to burn through the armour and could possibly kill it in shooting. I get to. So that's 4 wounds. Yeah, so that does destroy the Deathkiller Wartrike. I had to check the footage. I couldn't remember if any psychic attacks went through, but it did. So let's go on then to the Cultists. They've all got auto guns. They are in rapid fire range, and they're going to go into the Orc boys. Hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1s. I don't think rolling 1s. That's not bad shooting. That is not bad shooting at all. Only 2 misses. Look at that. But unfortunately, here comes the hard bit. It's strength 3, toughness 4. So 5s to wound. I get to reroll 1s because of Psychic Delve. Ah, no, I don't, because Cultists don't get the cult keyword, bizarrely. So unfortunately, I can't get to use Psychic Delve on them. So that is 3 wounds. So I've got 3 5-up saves from the custom force field. No, and 6-up Painboy saves. Well, Painboy saves one of them, so 2 get gunned down by the Cultists. Finally, the squad of rubrics here are going to shoot down into the boys, and I'm going to spend that command point to fire twice with their rapid fire weapons. But let's do the cannon first, hitting on 3s. no longer have the benefit of the sorcerer. I need 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, strength 5, 2 wounds, or burn through the armour, custom force field. Saves them both. Right, hold on, let me grab some more dice. Right, so rapid firing internal fusillades from the Thousand Sons rubrics into the boys below, hitting on 3s. And would have liked to have played veterans, but I've run out of command points. So that's that many hits, not too bad. Strength 4, toughness 4. Oh, just roll that again. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Re-rolling those ones because of Psychic Delve. Oh, they do convert. That's not bad. That's good shooting. Now, 5 up from the custom force fields. Ooh, does save quite a few there. Orc technology is the best. Okay, and then these will require 6s for the Pain Boy. Pain Boy patches a couple of 2 up. So that's still 5 dead though. Okay, focus. Charge phase for the Thousand Sons. A pretty good turn for the Thousand Sons. I thought they were really in trouble, but there's been a withering firepower stripping away the boys in this army. And yeah, but the Death Killer Wartrike gone as well. Suddenly it's looking a bit better for the boys in blue. Okay, let's do the charge phase. So the Zangor is going to go into the Gobos, and I think that's... Oh, yeah, I might as well declare a charge Terminators into this squad. Don't know if I'm going to bother with... I mean, come on. You've got 4... Orc players got 4... Nah, it's probably not worth doing any Overwatch. So let's do the Terminators. I haven't measured. It's definitely going to be 9, but I think it might be a bit more because casualties have been stripped away. That's a fail, definitely. Zangors can add 1 to this because of the Brayhorn. No, that fails as well. Okay, well, there we go. No command points, nothing we can do about that. And that will be the end of the Thousand Sons turn 2. Okay, these boys need to make a morale chest. They've lost 8, leadership is 7, so unless they roll a 1, they will fail. Nope, they will fail. And 4 in the unit, so 1 will flee. And then the others will flee on a 1 or 2, so another 1 flees. Okay. In terms of thin the ranks, there's a lot of casualties caused this turn. So the Thousand Sons are scoring 3 victory points for thin the ranks. They've also scored another 3 victory points for slaying that character. So that's 6 secondary objectives that the Thousand Sons have scored. Of course, they will get more at the end of the game, provided units survive. So that's the end of Thousand Sons turn 2. Let's go on to Orc turn 3. Okay, Orc turn 3. The Orcs were on 3 objectives, but just about the Hell Brute was on that one. So were the Thousand Sons. So that's 10 primary victory points to the Orcs. What's happened? Well, the remainder of this squad, if I stood them, kept them there, they just would have died. They're probably going to die anyway, but they've just moved further away. The Gretchen have just shuffled back ever so slightly to be within range of their Grot Blasters, at least, against Zangors. The Pain Boy has decided to stick around on that objective and start rooting through, opening up that hatch and seeing what's in there. The boys have moved closer to the cultist, the war boss, looking to finish the job against that lone rubric marine here. Each of these characters is worth 8 victory points, 3 for being a character and 5 for being a psyche unit, a ball of which. So in this turn, it's very much concentrate on the the Thousand Sons characters. So the death roller rumbles towards that sorcerer, and yeah, so that's basically it. The Meganobs staying in. It wasn't a very, I could have got them out, but that wasn't particularly a good target to have, so I think they'll be coming out next turn, but they're quite happy just shouting from the hatches at the moment. Okay, let's go into the shooting phase. Okay, 10 Grot Blasters into the Zangors, hitting on 4s, and 6s are a Daka. So that's 1 Daka, which doesn't convert. That's 5 strength 3 hits against toughness 4, so 5s to wound. 2 5-up invulnerable saves. And the Gretchen managed to kill a Zangor. Rocket into the Terminators. Misses. And the knob only has a slugger, but should be out of range. Slugger from the Pain Boy into the rubrics up the top there. Hits. And doesn't wound. Slugger from I'll do all the Orc boys and the big mech sluggers into the rubrics up there. The heavy, the big shooter going up into them. So let me just do the big shooter first. Hitting on, pick up some dice. Hitting on 5s. Ooh, 2 hits and a Daka, which doesn't convert. 3s to wound, 1 wound, and 2 up saves. I'll do the sluggers off camera. Okay, the war boss is 2 sluggers going into the war boss 2 sluggers going into rubrics, hitting on not that. Just so all the other sluggers from this mob going up doing absolutely nothing, and the missile launcher going into the Hell Brute, which misses. Lots of noise, lots of smoke, everyone's happy. Right, the Bone Breaker. Now, I've had a little look. That character on 1 wound is not within 3 inches of a unit of... so he can be targeted. So all of the big shooters are going to go into him, try and strip that last wound off. And the cannon, he's going to go into the rubrics up here. So, D6 heavy for the cannon for 2 shots, hitting on 5s, getting 1 hit, wounding on 2, strength 8. It's -2 save, and that does kill a rubric marine. And then the big shooters, 3, 4, 5, 6, hitting on 5s. Oh dear, that's good shooting. That's quite a few. What's that? 4 Dakas, which get another couple of hits in. This is strength 5, toughness 4, 3s, and then power armor save of 3 up. Fail one of them like that, and that is a dead sorcerer. Okay, into the charge phase for the Orcs. The Bonebreaker charging the sorcerer there. The boys are going to charge the cultists. The war boss is going to charge. Just wonder if I can make a charge to the Exalted. Oh well. probably can. So the war boss is going to charge the Exalted Sorcerer, and the boys are going to multi-charge both the remaining Aspiring Sorcerer and the Cultists. That is it for charges. Let's do that off screen. Right, Thousand Sons player not having enough command points to interrupt, so it's fairly safe. I forgot to mention that the Big Mech has also shinned up the ladder and charged the rubrics up there. Yeah, can't even do any Overwatch. So let's do the big fight first, which is Warlord on Warlord. 4 attacks for the War Boss, hitting on 2s. And they all hit. Winning on 2s with the big red claw. They all wound. Minus something like stupid, like 3, I think. So 5 up, favoured of Tzeentch. Each one doing 4 damage. That's 12 wounds. And that's slay the Warlord. That is a dead Exalted Sorcerer. Now, the Bonebreaker. This is going to be painful. I think the Orcs are going to clear up now. Bonebreaker, 12 dice against the other Sorcerer, hitting on 2s. They all hit, wounding on 2s. Ooh. All but 1 wounds. -2, 5 up invulnerable saves, each doing flat 2 damage. Yeah, that is 10. That is 16 wounds down to that Sorcerer as he goes crump under the big red roller. And there is that's 16 victory points there and then. Finally, the Orc boys, there's less than 20 of them now, so they don't get their extra attack. But let's face it, these are only Cultists. Right, those that can will attack the Aspiring Sorcerer. Let's do the Knob first. He has 3 attacks. He's unwieldy with his Power Claw, so hitting on 4s. Getting 2 hits. Wounding on 2s. 1 wound. 5 up, invulnerable save. Failed. They only have 1 wound. I'm pretty sure I only have 1 wound. I'm having a bit of a brain fart. It does only do 1 wound. Let me double check. Yeah, of course, they only have 1 wound. Bit of a brain fart there. So that is that squad destroyed. That's another Psyche unit. 3 victory points. Now, the boys... 1, 2... Hold on, let me count off camera. So, that's 14 boys. First 14 attacks. There's 3 lots of these. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 3s. And then T-shirt saves for the Cultist. Saves 1 of them, so that's 7 dead. Second round of attacks. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 3s. They really don't have a chance, these Cultists. Ooh. Wow. Tough Cultist. Cool. That wasn't a very good wound roll. 6s. Another 3 dead. So there's 10 dead. I think there's 4 left. And there's 1 final round of 14 dice. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 3s. Yeah, the last 4 need to roll a lot of 6s. No, that is the squad wiped. And finally, the Big Mech. 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. Strength is 5, toughness is 4. 2 wounds, but 2 2-up saves with all his dust. He manages to tear down 1 of the rubrics. Attacks back. This is the Exalted Sorcerer, hitting on 3s. wounding on freeze with the 4 stave, 1 wound. It's a 4 up save, -1, 5 up. Takes D3 wounds. Takes 3 wounds back. It's only got 4. It's only got 1 wound left. Maybe the big mech took on a bit too much, because I've now got 1, 2, 3 normal Space Marines who can attack back. So that is 6 dice with Hateful Assault. 3s. 4 hits. Strength 4, toughness 4, 4s. Ooh. Now there's 4 up saves. Need to make all of them. Can't even command point. Whoops. Okay, well that's only a slight fly in the ointment for the Orcs. The big mech ran up the ladder there and was smashed on the head for his troubles. And that is the end of Orc Turn 3. A close of turn 3 for the Orcs. What a brutal turn for them, annihilating the command structure of the Thousand Sons. All 3 characters slain in one go. That is maxed out, maximum 15 victory points for Abhor the Witch, and getting 3 victory points for each of those characters as well. So it's 15 for Abhor the Witch, 9 for Assassinate. They're also line breaking for another 4 victory points. So it's looking very bleak for the Thousand Sons. I suspect they have radioed in or psychically communicated an evac request. But we shall go on to Thousand Sons turn 3 just to equalise the turn, to see how the game continues as we go into Thousand Sons turn 3. Okay, at the start of turn 3 for the Thousand Sons, they scored 10 primary objective points for being on 3 of the objectives, but so are the Orcs, so they don't get the full 15. Hellbrute is going to try and enact revenge if I can get him in shot against the war boss. Rubrics are pretty much staying where they are. Terminators have shuffled forward, and so the Zangors moved closer to the Gretchen. So go on to the psychic phase. Or there's only 1 psyker left on. Actually, there's 2. Yeah, there's these guys. So they will simply smite the unit in front of them, and that goes off, and that will kill that Orc boy. And then these guys will do Psychic Delve on Psychic Delve on the Pain Boy, and that does go off as well. So reroll wound rolls of 1 against that Pain Boy. Right, shooting phase. The Terminators will split fire. The missile launcher is going to go into that remaining knob. The rest of the bolters into the Pain Boy. So missile launcher into that knob, hitting on 3s, 2 hits, wounding on 2s, 2 wounds. It can go straight through his armour and do 4 damage. I think it just about might be within range of the Pain Boy, so I roll some dice. No, not enough. He is taken out by the missile launchers. Then okay, these are the Warp Storm bolters, hitting on 3s and wounding on 4s. Ooh, that was a failed wound. That's going to go straight through his armour. Then he got a save of 6. See if he heals himself. No, that Pain Boy is gunned down. And that is a character, so 3 victory points. Okay, to the Hellbrute, Multi-Melter is going to go into the Bonebreaker, which incidentally got a wound back because it has a Grot Rigger. So hitting on 3s, getting only 1 hit, wounding on 4s, strength 8, toughness 8. It's going to go straight for his armor. D6. Oh, cocked. Try that again. 3 damage. Okay, and then finally the rubrics are going to continue shooting into the boys. So Soul Reaper hitting on 3s, getting 2 hits, killing on 3s now. No Pain Boy or Big Mech kills 1. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rapid fire bolt guns. Plus pistol. Freeze. And then killing on 4s. So that's 6 dead in total. And that's the end of the shooting phase. Okay, charge phase. The Hellbrute will go into the Orc boss, and then the Zangors will go into the Gretchen. So Zangors get to add 1 to this. Yep, they'll be in. And I'm pretty sure the Hellbrute's an auto in, but I'll roll. Yeah, they're both in. I'm not going to Overwatch. Okay, 4 attacks base for the Hellbrute, +1 for Hateful Assault, hitting on 3s. Scoring 4 hits. Strength ×2, so strength 12, toughness 5, 2s to wound. They all wound. They're going to go straight through the armour, and that is a dead war boss for 12 wounds. However, I'm going to play a stratagem. Orcs is never beaten in battle, which means the war boss will get to fight back. Okay, war boss attacks back, hitting on 2s. They all hit. Ooh. Wounding on 3s. Rerolling failed wounds. Ooh. And I think it's -3. I'll double check. I think it's 6 up saves now. That's all going to be failed, and that is a dead Hellbrute because that's 9 damage back. So the war boss does tear down the Hellbrute as he is himself flattened under his weight. Does it blow up? Nope. Okay, 12 Zangors can fight. That's 25 dice, including the twist spray, hitting on 3s. And 2, strength 4, toughness 2. They're going to be killing on 2s. So unless I roll a huge amount of 1s, yeah, that's all of them dead. With the Zangors braying in triumph, it does look like the Thousand Sons reinforcements has secured this part of the facility. And in fact, suddenly not looking too bad for the Thousand Sons. It's very swingy, this game. With the loss of the Hellbrute, though, they really don't have very much they can do against this Bonebreaker. But that is the end of Thousand Sons turn 3. They will get 6 victory points for Assassinate for killing the 2 characters, the War Boss and the Pain Boy. Yes, and I shall tally up the thin the ranks, which are thin the ranks. They certainly got a few more victory points for that as well. As we go into Orc turn 4. Okay, Bonebreaker heading back into the facility towards the Terminators down here, and Orc scoring 5 victory points by being on that objective, but I've also spent 3 command points on Green Tide, or Endless Green Tide, and some reinforcements have arrived, to the dismay of the Zangors, who thought they were having a rather easy battle dealing with a load of Gretchen. Yeah, so let's go on to the Orc shooting phase. Okay, everything from the Bonebreaker into the Terminators. Kill Cannon. Oh, only one shot. And, oh, it does hit and does Daka for 2 hits. Strength 8, Toughness 4, 2s to wound. 2 wounds, 2 minus 2 saves. So 4 ups. And it's 2 damage, so that's going to kill a Terminator. And then the 5, 6. Then the 4 big shooters, hitting on 5s. No Dackers. That's 4 hits. Wounding on 3s. And then 2 2-up saves. Yep, they save. Okay, I'll do the sluggers here off camera. In case anyone's wondering, Big Green Tide, at the end of your movement phase, you can select an Orc boy unit, and which is under half strength, and pick them up, and they get removed from the game, and then you can bring the unit back at full strength on any table edge within 6 inches and no closer than 9 inches from an enemy unit. So that's what's happened here. Okay, I'll do the sluggers off camera. So not all the sluggers were in range, but they still managed to kill 2 Zangors. So the only charge is the boys into the Zangors. That's not going to be enough. I'm going to need at least a 9-inch, aren't I? But let us re-roll. Just this dice. Yeah, and they're in. And that's what it looks like after that 9-inch charge. And that's how it looks like after piling in. After 13 Orcs that could attack have attacked, leaving only 6 angles left. Could have been worse. There's some pretty poor rolling by the Orcs, but I'll do the attacks back by the Zangors. And the Zangors managed to take down 6 Orcs with their attacks back. Okay, the Orcs are in their happy place, no morale for them, but the Zangors do need to make a test. And I think that's a fail. I think I needed a 1 to pass. Yes, that's a fail. So on 1s and 2s, they flee. Oh, no other flee. So just 1 decides to scarper. Okay, here we are at the Thousand Sons turn 4. The Terminators have shuffled a bit more onto that objective. They've ordered the Zangors to fighting retreat, disengage from that Orc mob so they can thin them out with their Stormbolters, apart from the missile launcher, will be going up towards here. It suddenly occurred to me, I forgot about my Mechanorms. They're still riding around in the Bonebreaker. Oh, this squad hasn't moved all game and probably won't now. They're in a happy place. I did think about getting them down to start going to that objective. They Thousand Sons did score 5 by being on that one. But yeah, maybe I should have, because then I'll get 15 victory points, because I'll be on. Oh no, you score it at the command phase, so I'm not on it. No, let's stay where they are. Okay, so psychic phase. Terminator will cast Psychic Delve against the Orc boys. and that passes. So reroll wound rolls of 1 against them, and a baby smite from the sorcerer up there, which fails. Incidentally, the Grot Rigger put another wound back on that Bone Breaker. Let's go into the shooting phase. The missile launcher going into the Bone Breaker, the rest of the Storm Bolters into the boys. So missile launcher, miss. Storm Bolters. Ooh, that is not a good roll. Wounding on 4s. Ooh, and in fact, killing on 4s goes straight for the armor, so that is 4 more dead. Okay, Thousand Sun player's got some command points back. Didn't spend one last turn and has gained 1 this turn. So Veterans of the Long War and firing twice, stratagem being played on this squad into the Bone Breaker. So this is the Soul Reaper. They all hit. Strength 5, toughness 8 would be 5s, but 4s because of veterans. And that's 1 wound. It will go straight through the armour. I'll do the bolters off camera. So the rubrics managed to take 5 wounds in total off against the Bone Breaker, leaving it on 6 wounds. Beginning to smoke a little bit, and that's the end of the Thousand Sons turn 4. As we go into the end game, it's Orc turn 5. Okay, sluggers into the Zangors. Sevens, Dackers there. Converting core. That's good shooting for slugger, boys. I'm surprised I even know which direction to shoot the gun. Winning on 4s. And 5 up invulnerable saves. Oh, yes, that is 5 dead Zangors, and I've still got the heavy shooter. See if we can pick off the twist bray. 5s, does get 2 hits, 3s to wound, 1 wound, 1 5 up. No, and that's a squad completely wiped out. Megalobs better do something. Missiles into the rubrics, rockets into the rubrics. Yeah, no, make lots of bangs. And then kill cannon into the Terminators, hitting on 5s. No. Ooh, focus. This is the big shooters. Ooh. 3 hits and a Dacker. Doesn't convert. Winning on 3s. Does all wound. 3 2-up saves. Takes a wound off a Terminator. Right. In that case, I might as well... Well, everything's charging. The boys are going to charge the Terminators. The Bone Breakers are going to charge the Terminators. And the Mega Knobs are going to charge the rubrics. There's no Overwatch, so I'll just roll the dice. The engagement range is 5 inches up, so yeah, I think they just need to do that. Bone Breaker. Snake Eyes. Well, I'm going to, here we go, that. 5. That's... Hold on a sec. Well, that's significant. That is a failed charge. It was a 6-inch charge, but they failed it. So the Orc boys haven't measured this. It's about 7 to me. That is a 7. Actually, it's an 8-inch charge, so I shall re-roll that too. Yeah, and that will be a successful charge. I will need a morale test for these Orcs. And hold on, let me work it out. Yeah, it's a fail. They've got this ship, I think 12, because that's how many left, but that is a fail. So I need to roll 12 dice. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And on 1s or 2s, more flee. Only 2 more flee. They like it really. Attacks back. Grey dice is the Exalted Sorcerer with the Force stave. And oh, he fluffed. Hit on 3s. But the others hit, wounding on 4s. And that's good. And that's going to kill 5 orcs straight through their armour. Okay, and the rubrics back. Grey being the sorcerer. Winning on 4s, grey dice winning on 3s. Only 1, 2 up save. Saved. And that's the end of Orc Turn 5. As the dust settles and the war cries of the orcs fill the facility, the rubrics up here have disengaged from the meganobs. They're taking advantage of their clanking, hulking forms, struggling to get up the ladder. I imagine there's a Thunderhawk that's coming in to evac, or perhaps that's a bit too loyalist, isn't it? Maybe there's just like a psychic energy field around the monolith, which they get too close to is dissipate them and send them away to their reinforcement center. The Terminators will teleport back away out of the combat, and that's really the end of Thousand Sons Turn 5. There's very little they could have done. If they'd stayed in combat, they'd have been hit by orcs first, because in 9th edition the opponent strikes first unless you charge. So yes, that's the end of the game. I'll have to tally up the victory points. I have to work out if the Thousand Sons get any whatsoever for minimise the casualties, and I'll have to go back over the footage to make sure I've got the thin their ranks tally correct, because it's quite easy to lose track during the midst of a game, and especially as the Orc player recycle the unit. I'm not going to treat the ones that weren't slain as actually slain. I don't know how we're supposed to approach the rules when it comes to that. But obviously the ones that came back and were killed from this table edge, I believe it's an Orc victory. I just think killing those characters gave them so many victory points that I believe this will be counted as an Orc victory. Certainly it feels like the Thousand Sons would have had to evacuate the installation, but they put up a pretty good fight, as it turns out, and in terms of the narrative, I suspect they got most of what they needed to do here done. But once again, the Thousand Sons will need to retreat, I think, to the more urban areas of this planet, where they may need to call upon the leadership of the Legion to get them out of this sticky wicket that they find themselves in. Okay, I shall tally up the victory points shortly. Just one more comment. I live in the southeast of England. We've now gone into lockdown tier 4, which is the most severe lockdown there is. So I don't know when I'm going to be able to put more content on this channel. I'm rather hoping I'll be able to play with a few of my friends and get them on this channel, but obviously because Nurgle is having his way with the planet, I've not been able to. So as I said, please bear with me. I appreciate you watching these videos, and I'll try and put as much content as I can when lockdown eases. But yeah, I'll be back with the final result. Right, the Thousand Sons managing to get 5 secondary victory points for minimised casualties, just about scraping in there. It was only when I was tallying up the victory points, putting the video together, I realised how far ahead the Orcs have managed to get. It's a fairly comfortable Orc victory. Final tally is 67 victory points to the Orcs and 44 to the Thousand Sons. So yeah, Thousand Sons, I think, well and truly beaten. I think they not quite as good in 9th as they were in 8th. I don't think there was ever a top tier army, but they are I've really struggled to get them into the table a bit, and it's all about taking primary objectives in 9th, isn't it? So I might need to have a look at maybe some extra units for the Thousand Sons to help them do that. Their fast attack choices are pretty limited. It's Spawn, Chaos Spawn, or Zangor Enlightened. So yeah, I might have a think about whether I need to add some units to the Thousand Sons army. But anyway, I'm enjoying the Orks. They're good fun, and yeah. So thanks for watching. This scenery is TT Combat. The mat is gamemat.eu. I made these rock formations out of polystyrene myself. Pretty simple. You just stick loads of polystyrene sheets together with PVA, paint the whole lot in PVA, and then spray paint it so it starts eating away at some of it, but hopefully not all of it if the PVA holds, and then just sanding the top really after painting it. Yeah, this stuff as well, that's all part of TT combat scenery. So yeah, thanks for watching everyone. I do appreciate it. If you like the video, obviously like it. If you'd like to subscribe for more content as and when I'm able to provide it. But hope you keep safe, and thanks for watching. Thank you. Bye.